Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. You guys know the deal on this channel. So about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history, guys. And in this video, man, we're going to set the record straight once again on the LeBron James fans and the narratives that they continue to pump out as it relates to Michael Jordan and the foul calls that Michael Jordan was getting. Right? Like, they always try to make it seem like, oh, Michael Jordan cried to the NBA. Michael Jordan cried to the referees. Michael Jordan got all the calls. They never call stuff against Michael Jordan, right? They love to say that the LeBron James fans. And the reality is not that, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. I've done a video on the regular season numbers. And how the Chicago Bulls never finished towards the top in free throw attempts. The differential of the Chicago Bulls was always a negative, guys. They always had negative differentials. Complete opposite of LeBron James and his teams. But I looked into the numbers in the playoffs, guys, right? I wanted to see, what the LeBron James fans are saying. Is it true? So I wanted to compare Michael Jordan's teams, right, the Chicago Bulls in the 90s, all the times that they went to the NBA Finals and how many free throws they attempted versus their opponents, guys. Versus the opponents, to see really were the Chicago Bulls getting all this free throw help? Were they getting all this help from referees because Michael Jordan went and complained to the NBA, is what I keep hearing from people like Isaiah Thomas and all the LeBron James fans jump on the same bandwagon. But the reality shows, guys, that Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls, the team, was not getting any favorable calls. They were not getting, like I said, hooked up with all these extra free throws, right? And getting helped out like LeBron James teams are, guys. And I'm going to break down the numbers to you in this video. All the runs to the finals for Michael Jordan's teams versus LeBron James teams. You guys can see a stark comparison, stark contrast, guys, in these numbers. And I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states has been supporting my channel. Once again, guys, I am truly humbled. I want to send a special thanks out to Gundam U, once again, for coming through with the super thanks. I want to send a special thanks out to Roland Curtis. You guys continue to support the channel, man. It means a lot. Like I said, it's very, very humbling that you guys donate to the channel, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the membership, man. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, like I said, man, I had to do a little bit of research for you guys. And the reason why I looked into these numbers is because all I hear from a lot of these weird LeBron James fans, a lot of these weirdos out here that love to knock the 90s era, they love to talk about how Michael Jordan complained, right? They love to take what Isaiah Thomas said, about Michael Jordan crying to the NBA, about the Detroit Pistons and the way they were playing the game. When I've told you guys many, many times, it wasn't just Michael Jordan that said something or complained or had a problem with the Detroit Pistons and how they approached the game, how they were playing the game. Like I said, if you're going back and watch a lot of those games versus the Detroit Pistons and the Chicago Bulls, what you'll notice, guys, from the Detroit Pistons is after the whistle's blown, these guys are hitting Michael Jordan. They're doing a lot of dirty fouls after the whistle, guys. And a lot of the fouls that they're committing, those are, once again, dirty, cheap plays against Michael Jordan, against the Chicago Bulls, man. Remember, they're trying to hurt Michael Jordan out there. They literally said they were physically trying to hurt him out there. So a lot of those plays came after the whistle. These are dirty, like I said, dirty tactics that the Detroit Pistons were doing, trying to hurt Michael Jordan. So let's understand that right there. This was not hard, physical basketball that Michael Jordan was complaining about. This is dirty plays. But the NBA league, the general managers, other players complained about the Detroit Pistons. And why? Because they were worried about someone getting hurt because of the way these guys were playing. Michael Jordan goes to jump into the air, they're clotheslining him in the air. They're grabbing his ankles, right? They're hitting him in the ribs. They're giving him elbows. They're pushing him. All this stuff that they were doing out there. It's not basketball. All right, so it's not a problem with the physical game, right? The New York Knicks were a physical team, but they weren't seen as a dirty team. The Detroit Pistons were a dirty team. Like I said, after the whistle's blown, you got guys like Bill Laimbeer and the Dennis Rodmans with the antics after the whistle, right? Instigating problems with Michael Jordan and Chicago Bulls. So that's one thing we have to understand when they talk that nonsense Isaiah Thomas talks. Once again, Isaiah Thomas has no credibility, has no cachet. He's a straight clown, a straight hypocrite, Isaiah Thomas. He has no integrity. So no one should ever listen or believe what Isaiah Thomas has to say. He's a bitter, envious, jealous man. It's really sad, too, because this dude is old as hell, and the dude's still bitter and envious. Really sad for Isaiah Thomas. But I looked into the numbers, guys, because remember I did a video, I don't know, a while back about the regular season numbers. Because if you guys remember a couple of years ago, there was a big deal being made about the Los Angeles Lakers and how they were getting all this help on the free throws, right? They were getting plus 497, I think, that one year. Then the next year they were plus like 505, right? This was consecutive seasons. And if I remember correctly, it was back-to-back years. I want to say it was 2023 and 2024. One of those years, I want to say it was those years that they will combine in the regular season. They got plus 1,000 at the free throw line. And I told you, I looked into the Chicago Bulls in the 90s, guys. I looked into all the years in the 90s when the Bulls were winning championships. They were never that high up on the plus as far as the free throw differential, guys. They were always in the bottom of the league. Bottom of the league. They were negative. Not plus 500 or plus 400. They were negative, guys, which meant that their opponents shot more free throws than them during the regular season, guys. That was just the facts. I did the numbers, did the video. In this video, we want to focus on the playoff numbers. Now, I focused on the seasons that the Chicago Bulls won the championship, right? 91, 92, 93, 96, 97, and 98, those 6 years. And I focused on the years that LeBron James went to the finals. Not just the years that he won, but the years that he went to the finals. They celebrate LeBron James for going to the finals. So I looked into all those free throws that the LeBron James-led teams got compared to their opponents. Now, this is not who had the most free throws in the playoffs, because we all know that more often than not, more likely, the two teams that are in the NBA Finals are usually going to be the top two teams in free throws attempted. So this is not to say, oh, the Chicago Bulls weren't the number one team in free throws, or the Lakers, or excuse me, the Miami Heat or the Cleveland Cavaliers weren't the first team. It's not about being, 1 through 10 or any of that kind of stuff, or the 1 through 16 with the 16 teams in playoffs. It's compared to their opponents. So in the first round, the second round, right, the conference finals, and then the finals, all of those rounds combined, a total in the playoffs, how many free throws were attempted for LeBron James teams, how many free throws were attempted for Michael Jordan's teams, and how many free throws were attempted for their opponents during those seasons, guys. All right? Now, let's start with the Michael Jordan stuff. All right? We're going to start with 1991. All right, excuse me, guys. I wrote this down on some paper real quick earlier. All right? So, like I said, guys, this comparison, I want you guys to think about this now. All right? And you let me know where there's some kind of advantage that the Michael Jordan-led team, the Chicago Bulls, had an advantage over any other team as far as free throws attempted, because Michael Jordan's team got all the calls. Michael Jordan got all the calls. All right? In 1991, the Chicago Bulls in the playoffs shot 452 free throws, guys. They attempted 452 free throws. That was third. All right, so they weren't even top two, even though they went to the finals that year. They were the third team on this list. I believe it was the Lakers, then the Portland Trail Blazers, and then the Chicago Bulls in free throws attempted, guys. All right, so they weren't even in the top two. They were number 3. 452, their opponent, guys, shot 461. So once again, their opponent, not a huge difference, at -9 for Chicago Bulls in the free throw attempts, guys, all right? -9. All right? Because I wrote all this stuff down, too, as far as what it was. Okay? That's 1991. The Lakers, their opponent, shot 574 free throws, which was number 1 that year in the playoffs, guys. You see the difference? 452 for the Bulls, 574 for Magic Johnson's Lakers in 1991. Their opponents, guys, shot 421 free throws. So you see how many free throws plus they were compared to the Bulls. The Bulls were -9. Look at the Lakers. That's over 100, plus over 100. Almost, what? That's plus 153. All right? Compared to what the Bulls were, a -9, guys. So it didn't look like the Bulls were getting free throw help during that playoff run. No, they were not, guys. They were a -9 overall in the playoffs that year. Let's go to 1992. The Chicago Bulls shot 612 free throws as a team during that playoffs. Their opponent shot 615, guys. So once again, they're a -3 now. So 1991, they're -9. 1992, they're -3. Not a huge difference, but there's no advantage there. There's no help or assistance from the NBA and the referees, as you can see. Let's go to the Portland Trail Blazers, their opponent in the finals. Their opponent, the Portland Trail Blazers, shot 712 free throws, which was number 1 in the playoffs. 712 compared to the Bulls, 612. So the Portland Trail Blazers got 100 more free throws than the Bulls did that entire playoff run, guys. The Portland Trail Blazers opponent shot 695, so not a huge discrepancy or advantage for the Portland Trail Blazers, but they were still plus, guys. They were still a plus when the Bulls were a negative, all right? Let's go to 1993. The Chicago Bulls were a plus, shot 487 free throws. That's a playoff run. 487 free throws, guys. Their opponent shot 511. 511, all right, guys? So that's a -24 for the Chicago Bulls. They were -24, all right? The Phoenix Suns, guys, listen to this, shot 737 free throws during that playoff run. 737, guys. Insane. Their opponent shot 610 free throws. So they were plus what? 127 compared to their opponents. The Bulls were a negative 24, guys, that season in the playoffs, just at the free throw line. Now, I'm not saying that these teams were lifted or carried by the referees. That's not what I'm highlighting here with the Phoenix Suns or any of these other teams. What I'm showing you guys is that their opponents in the finals were plus in the free throw at the free throw attempts. They were a plus, not a negative, compared to the Chicago Bulls. And the Bulls were still able to capture a three-peat. They weren't getting any advantage. That's the key here, guys. They weren't getting a help from the referees. They weren't getting benefited. Michael Jordan's teams wasn't getting some crazy preferential treatment that we've seen LeBron James teams get. Okay, as you guys can see, there's a three-peat. They were never a plus in any of those free throw attempts for the entire postseason. The entire postseason, guys. Meanwhile, every team the Chicago Bulls played in the finals was a plus. The Lakers, the Trailblazers, and the Suns were plus. All right? Let's go to 1997 now. Chicago Bulls, they were fourth, guys, in free throws attempted that season, in that postseason, guys. This is 1997, guys. Excuse me. Did I skip 1996? Yes, I'm sorry, guys. Excuse me. Let's go back one. 1996. The Chicago Bulls, 504 free throw attempts in 1996. Their opponent, 470. So this is the first year the Bulls were a plus 34. All right, a plus 34. Still, if you combine the first three seasons, 91, 92, and 93, and then you compare it to 1996, the Bulls are still a negative, guys, with all those combined. Even though they were a plus 34 in 1996. Once again, a plus 34, what is that? That's not an advantage, plus 34, guys. And once again, let's not sleep on the Chicago Bulls defense. Remember, the Chicago Bulls were an elite defensive team in 1996. So, of course, they're not going to commit a bunch of fouls and put a bunch of people at the free throw line. They're an elite defensive team, right? Position basketball, great help defense, rotations, right? High IQ basketball players like Scottie Pippen on the defensive end, Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman, Ron Harper. You're talking about four guys that knew where each other was going to be and knew their jobs. So, once again, this speaks to why they're not fouling people or putting people at the free throw line. But it was a plus 34. The first time they actually had a plus at the free throw line. The Seattle Supersonics, I remember they shot 504 free throws. Their Seattle Supersonics, who they played in the 1996 NBA Finals, shot 576 free throws that season, guys. All right, that was number one in the playoffs that season, 576. Their opponent shot 585. So they were a -9 at the free throw line that season. Really no difference, right? Nothing crazy there. And the Bulls were a plus 34. But they shot 504 compared to the Seattle Supersonics, 576. All right, so let's understand that. And remember, guys, in that finals, when Michael Jordan was going to the free throw line after games like 2 and he was forcing the issue against the Suns, don't forget the Seattle Supersonics were a very aggressive defensive team, especially on the perimeter, with guys like Gary Payton and Nate McMillan and Hersey Hawkins. And, like I said, they were aggressive defensively. The Seattle Supersonics. So they would draw fouls. They would commit fouls. Let's not forget, that's how the NBA was played back in them days, right? Guys played hard. They committed fouls. You earned those fouls. You were going to get fouled if you try to go in the paint like Michael Jordan did. Let's go to 1997 now. The Bulls shot 441 free throws that season in the playoffs. That was fourth on the list. I believe that was behind the Utah Jazz, the Miami Heat, I think the Indiana Pacers. I think the Bulls were fourth after those teams, if I'm not mistaken, in 1997. I could be wrong on that, but I believe those were the three teams that had the Bulls. Anyway, the Bulls were fourth, 441. Their opponent in 1997, guys, shot 524 free throws, which means the Bulls were a -83 in 1997. A -83. Once again, not saying it's a crazy advantage that the opponents had against them, but I'm showing you the Bulls did not have an advantage. They did not have a clear advantage. They were not getting preferential treatment. They weren't getting all this help from the referees. They were a -83 from the free throw line, guys, in that playoff run, 1997, guys. The Utah Jazz shot 608 free throws that postseason, guys. You know what I said? The Bulls shot 441 that postseason. The Utah Jazz shot 608, guys. 608. They were number one in the postseason that year. Free throws attempted. We all know Karl Malone goes to the free throw line a lot, right? The opponents of the Utah Jazz shot 560. So once again, the Utah Jazz were a plus 48 at the free throw line that season. The Bulls were a -83 in the playoffs that year. All right? And then 1998, the Bulls shot 591 free throws. This was the Bulls, this was their only, their biggest plus at the free throw line was 1998. 1998, the Bulls shot 591. That was the first year out of all those years the Bulls won the championship. That was the first year, 1998, guys, that the Chicago Bulls led the postseason in free throws attempted. That was the first year, guys, 1998. They were number 1 with 591 free throws attempted. Their opponent, 488 free throws attempted with so that made the Bulls a plus 103, guys. Plus 103. All right, so that was their best or their highest discrepancy, their highest plus from the free throw line. 1998, the Utah Jazz shot 509 free throws that season, and the opponent shot 593 free throws that season. All right, so they were a negative that season from the free throw line. Remember, the year before, the Jazz shot 608, and their opponent shot 560. The Bulls shot 441 the year before. So in 1998, they shot 591. And once again, let's not forget the kind of game that Michael Jordan played, attacking the free throw line, attacking the defense, right, that season. So now, if we take all that together, right, all those years together, the Bulls were a plus 18 at the free throw line in the NBA Finals. I mean, in the playoffs, guys, all those finals runs, right, first, second, third round, and in the finals, all those years, 6 seasons combined, right, the 6 championship years, they were a plus 18 at the free throw line, guys, a plus 18. And that really, the only reason it was actually a plus is because of that 1998 season, right, when they were 103. Every other year, -9, -3, -24, plus 34, -83, guys. All right, so they were plus 18. I want you to keep that in mind. Now, let's think about the LeBron James teams, right, and what they got. All right, let's think about this now. All right, 2007, Cleveland Cavaliers, 521 free throws attempted. Their opponents, 479. All right, guys, 479. So that's a plus 42 for LeBron James' team. All right, plus 42. Remember that, guys. Their opponents, the Spurs, 486. Their opponent shot 474. So the Spurs were a plus 12. The Cleveland Cavaliers were a plus 42. And this is LeBron James in his fourth season in the league. 04, 05, 06, 07. His 4th season in the league leads these bums to the NBA Finals. And his team was a number 1 team in free throws attempted as in the 4th year, guys. And they were plus 42. Plus 42, guys. See, they never give LeBron James teammates any credit. They act like he was out there. The NBA seemed to give him a little bit of help. He was plus, right? So let's think about this now. 2011 now. Here we go with the 8 straight NBA Finals. They love to celebrate. 2011, the Miami Heat, 584 free throws attempted. Their opponent, 458. So the Miami Heat were a plus 126, guys. Plus 126 at the free throw line. LeBron James still choked up. His team lost in the NBA Finals 4-2. Lost 3 games in a row after beating up 2-1, guys. The Dallas Mavericks shot 533 free throws that postseason. Their opponent, 512. All right? So the Dallas Mavericks were a plus 21 at the free throw line. The Miami Heat were a plus 126, guys. Way beyond what the Chicago Bulls ever got at the free throw line, guys. And once again, they still lost. Miami Heat lost with that kind of free throw advantage in the postseason. So it seems like LeBron James team's getting more help than Michael Jordan team's here. Let's go to the next year, 2012. Miami, 637 free throws attempted. Their opponent, 535, guys, for a difference of plus 102. So back-to-back playoff runs, they're plus 100 at the free throw line, guys. Their opponent, the OKC Thunder, shot 489 free throws that postseason run, right? The young OKC Thunder, they weren't getting the calls like that. And their opponent shot 509. So once again, the OKC Thunder were a negative, guys. They were a negative at the free throw line. The Miami Heat were a plus 102. And we all remember the NBA Finals that year, all the calls that we saw them not making for the OKC Thunder. LeBron James was murdering guys out there. No calls made, guys. You clearly see this in the finals. But they want to talk about Michael Jordan got all the calls. You see the numbers here, guys, and we saw the video footage. 2013, Miami Heat, 534 free throws attempted. Their opponent, 564. So they were negative 30 that season. Great for LeBron James and the Miami Heat. Their opponent, the Spurs, shot 451 free throws. Their opponent, 411, guys, all right? So they were a plus 40. The Miami Heat were a negative 30. Miami Heat still won. Once again, this is not a huge discrepancy, guys, right? Negative 30 or the Spurs being a plus 30. Plus 40. Not huge discrepancies here, guys. But I want you guys to keep these numbers in mind, right? Because it's going to add up at the end. The Miami Heat, 2014, 440 free throws. Their opponent, 447. So they were negative 7 that year from the Miami Heat. No big deal, right? The Spurs, 541 free throws attempted. The opponent, 485. All right? So they were plus like 60 or whatever it was, 55, whatever. All right? 2015, Cleveland Cavaliers, 500. LeBron went back to Cleveland now. 538 free throws for the Cleveland Cavaliers, number 1 that year. The opponent, 457. So they were a plus 81. All right, guys, plus 81 that year. The Golden State Warriors that season in the playoffs shot 465 free throws to their opponent shot 548, guys. So they were almost a negative 100. The Golden State Warriors still came back from a 2-1 deficit and beat LeBron James in the NBA Finals. Even though LeBron James' teammates were helping him out there doing their jobs, LeBron James couldn't close those games out. But during that entire run, they were a plus 81 at the free throw line, guys. So once again, when they keep trying to tell me that Michael Jordan got all the calls, it looks like LeBron James' teams got more calls than Michael Jordan did. He had more of an advantage. He had more help from the free throw line, from the referees, than the Michael Jordan-led teams. It's clear as day right now. 2016, the Cleveland Cavaliers shot 458 free throws. Their opponent 432 free throws. All right, so they were plus 26 that year. Golden State Warriors, they shot 559 free throws. Their opponent shot 648. So once again, they were negative again, guys. The Golden State Warriors, back-to-back finals, they were negative by a lot at the free throw line, right? Cleveland Cavaliers, they were plus though, right? Let's go next year, 2017. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 472 free throws attempted. Number one. The opponents, 373, guys. 373. Golden State Warriors, 432 free throws attempted. Their opponent, 420. So the Golden State Warriors were a plus 12. The Cleveland Cavaliers were a plus 99 that season. Plus 99, guys. All right? And then finally in 2018, did I write down 2018? Yes. In 2018, guys, Cleveland Cavaliers shot 508 free throws. Remember, LeBron James, this is LeBron James' best year. Just carrying bums out to the finals in the weakest conference. They shot 508 free throws. Their opponent shot 454. Once again, a plus 54 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Another plus for LeBron James-led team. Golden State Warriors opponent, 428. And their opponent shot 442. So once again, they were negative at the free throw line during the playoffs. But LeBron James' team was a plus 54. Now, this is where it gets interesting, guys. I know I'm rambling on here. This video's going kind of long. It all adds up. All right? So I want you guys to remember those numbers I said, right? 07 plus 42, 2011 plus 126, 2012 plus 102, 2013 negative 30, 2014 negative 7, 2015 plus 81, 2016 plus 26, 2017 plus 99, and then finally 2018 plus 54. I didn't even get into the 2020 or the 2020 championship in the bubble. Who cares about that? Let's focus on these numbers. All right? Now, all those combined. Now, remember, you guys remember what the Chicago Bulls were at the free throw line in the playoffs. This is the entire playoff run, guys. Not just the finals, the entire playoffs. The Bulls were a plus 18, guys. Plus 18. That's negligible, guys. That's nothing. That's a wash. That's even. You know what the LeBron James-led teams were, guys? When you add all those numbers up, maybe you did the math in your head. Maybe you wrote them down and did it on a calculator. The LeBron James-led teams, guys, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Miami Heat, they were a plus, get ready for this, 493 at the free throw line just in the playoffs alone, guys, for those runs. That was the 9 of the 10 championship runs for LeBron James-led teams. They were a plus 493. Plus 493. The Bulls were a plus 18, guys. That is insane. Insane, guys, when you think about this. But the LeBron James fans going to try to tell you that Michael Jordan got all the help. And I want to take it one step further, guys. Remember, in the NBA Finals, the Chicago Bulls were a negative 67, guys, in the NBA Finals. There's only 2 of the 6 NBA Finals. The Chicago Bulls had more free throw attempts than their opponent, guys. Only 2. All right? And those 2 were 1996 and 1998. That's it, guys. In 1991, the Bulls shot 92. The Lakers shot 137, guys. Still won 4 games to 1. There was no excuses. 1992, the Bulls shot 163. The Trailblazers 185. In 1993, the Bulls shot 130. The Phoenix Suns 161, guys. 1996, like I said, 169 for the Bulls, 154 for the Sonics. 1997, 141 for the Bulls, 161 for the Utah Jazz. And then in 1998, this is part of the reason why I said why they had the plus 18. In the finals, they were 148 to the Utah Jazz 112, guys. And remember why that was. Because someone like Michael Jordan putting the pressure on the Utah Jazz defense, man. All right, so understand that. Also, I want you guys to understand, man, this is not like what the Bulls doing as a plus 19, a plus 18, guys. That's not normal, man. I went and looked at 1986 and 1987, guys. For the Celtics and like for the Lakers in 1987, the Lakers in 1987, the playoffs, guys, they were a plus 177. 177 for the Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Lakers in 1987. They were plus 177. Larry Bird Celtics, they were plus every time, guys. in 87 and 88 or 86 and 87, I think it was plus 60 or plus 50. And I think they were plus like 30 and 87 or something like that. They were always pluses, guys. The fact that the Bulls were negative every single season except for 2 for an entire playoff run, guys, I'm telling you guys right now, there was no preferential treatment. There was no help from Michael Jordan or the Chicago Bulls they were getting. Meanwhile, we clearly see LeBron James getting preferential treatment, getting help from the referees all these years, guys. Plus 493. That's crazy, guys. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.